Some NBA players retire and fade into quiet lives. Others turn into monsters. This is the chilling story of NBA stars who didn't just lose their careers, they lost their minds. Let's begin. Javaris Crittenton, the fall of a young star. Javaris Crittenton was supposed to be great. Drafted by the Lakers in 2007, he had speed, vision, and promise. But his NBA career was short-lived, just 3 seasons across 3 teams. Then came the headlines. In 2011, Crittenton was arrested for the murder of a 22-year-old mother in Atlanta. The shooting was reportedly a botched retaliation. He was aiming for someone else. He pleaded guilty and was sentenced to 23 years in prison. From NBA rookie to convicted killer in just 4 years. The locker room gun standoff. Before the murder, Crittenton was already making headlines for the wrong reasons. In 2009, while playing for the Washington Wizards, he got into a heated gambling dispute with teammate Gilbert Arenas. The result? Both players brought guns to the locker room. Yes, actual firearms, inside an NBA facility. The league suspended both players, and the incident became one of the most bizarre scandals in NBA history. It was a warning sign, but no one knew how dark things would get. Eddie Johnson, from All-Star to life sentence. Eddie L. Johnson was a 2-time NBA All-Star in the 1980s. He played over 10 seasons and scored more than 10,000 points. But after retirement, his life spiraled. Drug addiction, mental illness, and a long list of criminal charges. In 2006, Johnson was convicted of sexually assaulting a child. He was sentenced to life in prison. The fall was brutal, from NBA glory to one of the most disturbing crimes imaginable. The wrong Eddie Johnson. Here's where things got messy. When the news broke, many media outlets confused Eddie L. Johnson with Eddie A. Johnson, the clean-cut NBA analyst and former player. Eddie A. Johnson had to fight to clear his name. It was a painful reminder of how quickly reputations can be destroyed, even by mistake. The mental toll of retirement. So why do some players spiral after retirement? Experts point to several factors. Loss of identity. For years, they were the star. Suddenly, they're just another guy. Mental health issues, depression, bipolar disorder, and trauma are common. Financial collapse. Many players go broke within years. Lack of structure, no training, no games, no purpose. And for some, that void gets filled with violence. The NBA's response? The league has tried to help. Programs for mental health, financial literacy, and post-retirement planning exist. But they don't reach everyone, and they can't undo years of trauma. The stories of Crittenton and Johnson are extreme, but they're not isolated. Brian Williams, a.k.a. Bison Deal. The Vanishing. Bison Deal, formerly known as Brian Williams, was a talented center who played for the Pistons, Bulls, and Clippers. He won a championship with the Chicago Bulls in 1997 and retired early at just 30 years old. But what happened next is straight out of a crime thriller. In 2002, Daley disappeared while sailing in the South Pacific with his girlfriend, Skipper, and brother, Miles DeBoard. None of them were ever seen again, except Miles. He returned alone, gave conflicting stories, and was later found dead from an apparent suicide. Authorities believe Miles killed Bison and the others, dumped their bodies at sea, and tried to cover it up. No bodies were ever recovered. No trial. Just silence. Daley's disappearance remains one of the most haunting mysteries in NBA history. The tragic case of Lorenzen Wright. Lorenzen Wright was a beloved Memphis Grizzlies player, known for his hustle and heart. In 2010, he was reported missing. 10 days later, his body was found in a wooded area, riddled with bullet wounds. The investigation dragged on for years. Then, in 2017, a break. His ex-wife, Shara Wright, was arrested and charged with conspiracy to commit murder. She had allegedly plotted the killing with her lover, Billy Ray Turner. The motive? Money. Shara had received a $1 million life insurance payout. In 2022, Turner was convicted and sentenced to life. Shara took a plea deal and got 30 years. Lorenzen's death shocked the NBA community. He wasn't just a player, he was a father of 6, a hometown hero, and a victim of betrayal. The forgotten ones, players who slipped through the cracks. Not every story makes headlines. Some players fade into obscurity, and their crimes go unnoticed. Take Robert Swift, a former first-round pick for the Seattle Supersonics. After his NBA career fizzled, Swift battled addiction and was arrested for gun possession and involvement in a heroin ring. He didn't kill anyone, but his downfall was steep. Then there's Delonte West. While not a killer, his post-NBA life has been marked by homelessness, mental illness, and run-ins with the law. These stories matter because they show how fragile the line is between fame and failure. The media's role, sensationalism versus support. When athletes fall, the media pounces. Headlines scream, "NBA star turns killer," or "From courtside to crime scene." But where was the support before the fall? Mental health in sports is often ignored until it's too late. And when players from troubled backgrounds make it big, they're celebrated, but rarely helped. The league has made progress, but the damage is done. What can be done? So how do we stop this cycle? Early intervention. Mental health screenings and support from rookie year. Post-retirement programs. Real guidance, not just seminars. Financial education. Prevent the crash that leads to desperation. Community reintegration. Help players find purpose beyond basketball. Because behind every jersey is a human being. And behind every crime is a story that could have ended differently. Closing reflection. The NBA is filled with legends, but some stories are buried. Too dark, too painful, too real. Javaris Crittenton, Eddie Johnson, Bison Deal, Lorenzen Wright. They remind us that talent doesn't guarantee peace, and that fame can't fix what's broken inside. This isn't just a video. It's a wake-up call. Redemption is rare, but not impossible. Not every player who spirals stays lost forever. Some fight their way back. Take Chris Herron, a former NBA player whose career was derailed by addiction. He never committed violent crimes, but he came close to losing everything. After multiple overdoses and arrests, Herron turned his life around. Today, he runs a foundation helping athletes battle substance abuse. His story is proof. The fall isn't always final, but it takes help, humility, and a second chance. The culture of silence. One of the biggest problems in professional sports? Silence. Players are taught to be tough, to man up, to never show weakness. But mental health isn't weakness. It's human. And when the culture punishes vulnerability, it creates a breeding ground for breakdowns. How many more players have to fall before we change the system? The hidden epidemic. Let's be real. The NBA isn't alone. The NFL, boxing, MMA, every high-impact sport has its share of post-career tragedies. CTE, depression, addiction, violence. It's a pattern, and it's not going away. Because when you build someone up as a superhero, you forget they're still human. The fans' role, our obsession with glory. We, the fans, play a part too. We idolize these athletes. We cheer their dunks, their buzzer beaters, their highlight reels. But when they fall, we turn away. We meme them. We forget them. Until they show up in a mugshot. Maybe it's time we cared about the person, not just the player. The final whistle. Let's recap. Javaris Crittenton, NBA guard turned convicted murderer. Eddie Johnson, all-star turned predator. Bison Deal, vanished at sea, likely murdered by his own brother. Lorenzen Wright, gunned down in a murder-for-money plot. Dozens more, lost to addiction, crime, or mental illness. These aren't just cautionary tales. They're cries for help that came too late. What if? What if someone had intervened earlier? What if the league had done more? What if we, as fans, had seen the signs? We'll never know. But we can do better. We can demand more mental health support, more accountability, more compassion, because behind every stat line is a story, and behind every highlight is a human being. The NBA is a league of legends. But not all legends end with rings and retirement speeches. Some end in tragedy, in silence, in prison, or worse, forgotten. Let's not forget them. Let's learn from them. Because the game doesn't end when the buzzer sounds. For some, that's when the real battle begins.